Heidi Jones and I'm a lifestyle and health coach here in Dubai. Thank you so much for watching. This is going to be a coaching lesson to help you take the first steps in overcoming your fear of failure. You're here because you're someone who never gets to the bottom of your to-do list, never has the time to do things for you, and never feels satisfied or quite satisfied when you've finished a project or you've completed a goal. Today I'm going to teach you a practical approach of how to overcome your fear of failure so you can really start creating a life that works for you rather than against you. I want you to be able to use these steps to be able to really go and put yourself out there so you can start living your full potential. During this coaching session, I'm going to talk you through identifying your beliefs and fears, where they started and why they formed. 2, to consider what life would look like without these fears. And number 3, to outline the possibilities of how you can face your fears. And then hopefully this is going to help you take that first step forward in creating a life that is going to be better for you. Whether that is creating a better work-life balance, whether that is going out and chasing your goals and your dreams, or perhaps it's just being able to manage yourself better, to feel more in control of your life. To make the most of this session, what I need you to do is to download the worksheet that goes with it, print it, and then use it as a journaling worksheet, because during this lesson there's going to be some questions that you need to answer and you use the worksheet to do that. And then what I would like you to do is to make sure that you set aside at least 30 minutes to be able to complete this activity. This lesson is 10 minutes long, but actually the task will take you a little bit longer because it's about taking some time out to do some personal reflection. So I need you to schedule in that time so you can sit down and focus on making sure that you put your whole self into the class. For extra support, you can take a photo of you doing this exercise and tag me on Instagram stories. Then I'm going to know that you're working on it live in that moment, and I'll be able to send you some supporting messages back. Or if you have any questions, you can send them through to me using a DM on Instagram, and then I can give you the feedback that you need. Make sure to tag Heidi_Jones_coaching. So the first activity is to list 1 to 3 negative opinions that you currently hold about yourself. As an example, it could be, I'm too fat to, or it could be, I'm not clever enough to. What are the negative opinions that come up most frequently for you about yourself? 1 to 3, write them down. So just pause the video, take some time to reflect, and then come back. Part 2, I want you to then spend some time considering how did these negative opinions form. Now they could have been started way back in your childhood. We don't necessarily have to go all the way back there and then uncover that stuff. That's not what coaching sessions are about. But being able to identify perhaps where it started is going to help you understand it a little bit more and to see maybe a pattern as to why it served you at that moment in time, but it's not serving you now as an adult. Because most of these things that we fear are because of their nature to be able to protect us in some way. They're like a protective mechanism that we created in order to stay safe. So being able to identify perhaps where it started is going to help you be able to release it later on in this session. Pause the video and then come back. Number 3, what I want you to do is to really think about who or what circumstances contributed to this fear that you have, or these negative opinions that you have about yourself. So think about the people that perhaps were there and the circumstances that you have been in that have contributed to it. So potentially it could be that it was started at one point in your life, but other circumstances have contributed for it to become even stronger and more internal belief. So I want you to consider who and what circumstances have contributed for you to believe that this fear is real. Pause the video and then come back. Number 4, now we need to look at how long have these beliefs and fears been with you? Then, how has your behaviour contributed to reinforcing them? For example, How have you behaved in a way that has made this belief become stronger and stronger for you? Is it that you have completely avoided all failure? So it means that you've never needed to fail and you've been really successful in the areas that are working well for you during your life. So you've never experienced what it feels like. Is it that you have surrounded yourself with people who also believe that if they take a step out their comfort zone and fail, then that's actually a really negative thing to experience, and so you all stay in your safe zone, in your comfort zone. You've been setting yourself small goals because you'll know you'll always be able to achieve them. You don't get that much satisfaction at the end, but you're able to still see that you're achieving something, but you'll never ever set a big audacious goal because of the fear that you're not able to actually achieve it. Pause the video and come back. Now I would like you to list, are there any facts that support your belief? So at this point you have to take away the opinions and you have to identify the difference between fact and opinion. So a fact is set in stone, it is real, this has happened, there is evidence to prove it. If I do this and I fail, this will happen. So I want you to identify if there are any facts that support your negative beliefs and your fear of failure. Write them down. Pause the video and write them down. So now we're moving on to really looking at how this is impacting your life at the moment, how it's holding on to these negative opinions and beliefs and this fear of failure stopping you achieve the life that you know that you deserve. What I want you to do is to now list down what you would attempt in your life if you didn't believe these things anymore. So you didn't have this fear of failure and you didn't hold these negative opinions about yourself. What would you do with your life? Pause the video, write it down. Now we're moving into looking at what you could gain if you challenged one of your fears, one of your negative opinions. This is where it gets exciting, okay? This is where we often get stuck because we're now facing the fear head on. We're looking at, if we stopped having this fear, this is what I could actually achieve. This is what I could actually gain in my life if I was to face this fear. And that in itself can be quite scary. It's eye-opening. So I want you to pause the video and to really consider what you could gain if you were to either let go of the fear of failure or to let go of those negative opinions that you've been holding on to. Now, we're making a plan of action. It's easy to say what we could gain in our life. It's easy to say that we're not going to have this fear of failure anymore, or you'll let go of your limiting beliefs. What is the hard part is actually being able to go out and do it. For some of us, we have the fear of failure because we don't have the skill set in place to be able to go and achieve what we really want to do. Or perhaps we don't have the experience, perhaps we have lost our confidence, perhaps we don't actually know what is needed to go out and face this fear. So we'd rather not know rather than find out what it is that we perhaps don't know, okay? So what I need you to do is to consider a bit of an action plan for you to succeed, okay? Because remember, we're facing this fear head on. Yes, there's always going to be an element of the fact that you may fail. But what we can do is help set ourselves up for success using practical steps that will really then help us keep motivation. It takes the fear away, and it means that even if you do fail, you've tried something new and you learn along the way, and most likely you enjoyed the process a lot more rather than just waiting for the end result to make you happy. You've actually been able to grow as a person through the process. That's the key thing that we're aiming for here. So when you pause the video this time, I want you to write down anything that you could do to help yourself succeed. So whether that is you study something, you go on a course, you go on a workshop, you get yourself a coach, you have some therapy, what is it that you can do to help yourself move forward? Pause the video and then come back. Now, we're on that last question, which is all about that first step. Those things that you just wrote for the previous question are probably quite big steps, bold steps that you need to take to be able to move forward. You know, like enrolling on a course or hiring a coach. They're quite big actions. So it doesn't mean that you can put this video away and go and do it. What is it that you can start doing today is what I want you to focus on next. What are the smaller steps that you can start taking to face that fear head on or release those negative opinions that are causing you this fear? What I want you to imagine is a brick wall in front of you. So you've got this big wall and it's made up of all these individual bricks. The big wall is your goal, is your big action. The individual bricks are the small actions that you need to take in order to reach the big goal, to make the big wall. We're going to break it all down. So imagine it as Lego blocks and you've got all your individual Lego pieces. I want you to start identifying what your Lego pieces are. What are your small steps to help you take the bigger step overall? Because if we go out and say, right, I need to go and enroll on this year-long course to be able to overcome this fear, that's a huge step and a huge ask, and you're not going to actually see any impact straight away. We want you to be able to start facing it today. So what are the smaller things that you can do in order to help lead to those bigger goals or those bigger steps to help you move forward? At this stage, it would be great to hear what your small steps are. I'm here to help and support you along the way. Perhaps I'll even be able to help you break it down into even more manageable steps. It's part of my job as a coach is to make it possible for you to go out and take action. And the smaller the steps are, the more action you are going to take. I've listed in the workbook 3 ways that you can get started today. Number 1 is the brick wall analogy. I want you to use that. Number 2 is to use my 3 scenarios exercise. And then number 4 is to look at what a growth mindset is, to develop a growth mindset and use that as an approach towards failure. It's about looking at failure as always an opportunity to learn and grow as a person. It's never an opportunity to stop. It's always an opportunity to move forward and move towards the life that you want to lead. So we always figure out the solutions to our problems. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this short lesson, this coaching session. It's all about how much you can reflect. If you need to discuss any of the questions in more detail, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you do that. Get in touch by just sending me an email or get in touch with me through Instagram and we will take it from there.